10, 9, 8, 7.
Don't forget to ask questions about the Derby because you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to mention the Derby.
Yeah, some horses.
Hey, welcome to another segment of Hardcore Sports. So glad you joined us. It's been a couple of weeks, and I'm glad to be back. We've got Dan the Man here. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, what's up?
It is. If Dan is here, that means it's Kentucky Derby Day.
Right.
Shout out to Kenneth Paul Media, Kenneth Paul Studios, executive producer Kenneth Paul Graham. You got to check out his art gallery thing. I'm not sure. I think it's the next week. I think every second Saturday they do the every second Saturday. So it's next week. Every second Saturday they do something over there, Wave Street, up the street from the old Wave. It's in the next block, and there's a whole. It's probably about 4 galleries in there, if I'm not mistaken. Very nice, very nice. I went over there. Wine and cheese. It's really really classy stuff. I mean, artists from all over Staten Island come, and maybe even off of Staten Island they come. But Kenneth Paul has his thing going on over there, so you want to check it out. Shout out to Eileen Hanlon. Go Eli. She's behind the glass, doing her thing, and we appreciate her. And don't forget to check her out as well. She's got the St. Patty's Day Parade. I'm not sure if it's airing yet, but she produces that and a number of other things. That her own projects here, and she's a photographer as well. So they'll be able to help you here. So we've got Dan the Man. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got the Nets. Go Nets.
All right.
The Nets won last night.
All right.
What happened last night with the game?
Well, Jason Kidd changed the start lineup, so instead of him having Sean Livingston in the lineup, he had Allen Anderson. Allen Anderson is more athletic. I think Jason Kidd watched the game before when the Nets were trying to come back from 26 down, and they lost, by 2 points. And, I really like Allen Anderson, as a player, because I kind of cringe when he's in there because sometimes he turns the ball over or take ill-advised three-pointers or he misses open three-pointers. But he's a damn good defender. And I noticed that he can actually run up and down the court because Sean Livingston is not the player he used to be when he came in the NBA. He was very fast, but when he broke his kneecap, he really lost speed. And I noticed Jason Kidd saw that, and that was the difference. Having him in the lineup, not playing Plumlee, using Blatch to come off the bench for Garnett because they don't have no answer for Blatch, even though Blatch is missing shots. But he creates chaos out there because he has a handle, he rebounds. As you saw last night, he blocked 3 shots. But the main key, and he's the key to the whole series, is Darren Williams. He stepped up his game even though he played on an injured ankle. But we know that he has weak ankles and he hasn't been 100% for the past 2 seasons. So they won by 14. It was great. They win by a significant amount. Maybe they put the pressure on Toronto because now they saying to themselves, wow, they came back from 26, almost won. They blew us out. Now they're going to question themselves. They're going to say, wow, are we that good? Or the Nets are getting better? Or are we
And that's
trouble?
a young team.
Yeah.
They will question themselves.
Yeah, we'll question themselves.
Absolutely, back at home.
Yeah.
Defense you have to mention did play a key because Kyle Lowry was definitely held down. They definitely shut him down. So, and that's one of the main cogs in what the Raptors do. So, shout out to the Nets. There's a bunch of Game 7s. We also have Damian Lillard the other night shooting the winning shot.
Yeah, that was last night.
And eliminating the Houston Rockets.
On a 3-pointer at that. And you know what was weird? They gave him so much time in the world. I mean, somebody got to run at him or something. I mean, I couldn't believe it when he hit that.
Yeah, but they're lacking defense, and that's that now they're getting on Harden. I mean,
yeah.
Now they're getting on Harden because they're saying that there's no defense in Harden's game.
There's no defense.
There's no defense in Harden's game. So now Harden's a problem. So now Harden and now what's his name also Durant now is getting some criticism. Now he's getting the criticism, and there's a lot of furor over him and his play. His mother came out and made statements about only in Oklahoma City, and you're in the big leagues now, and folks are saying, and OKC is a small market. It is considered probably one of the smallest markets in the NBA.
But they support their team.
They support the team. But he's getting a lot of criticism. And like I said, he's getting a lot of criticism in OKC now. And his mom has come out, and a lot of folk in the press are saying if Kevin Durant was in New York, playing the way he's playing, you're going to be criticized one way or the other. So, it comes with the territory. You're making millions of dollars, and this is the playoffs. You got to get it done, no matter what. So we've got a bunch of Game 7s coming up. We've got today Atlanta playing Indiana. These games, and it's a Game 7s. These things can go either way. You got Memphis, OKC. Well, we have Atlanta, Indiana at 5:30 today. And we have Memphis, OKC. Zach Randolph is suspended. That's some other. That's that's something that I scratch my head like. Don't you know that these are the playoffs? Don't you know you're the star player? You can't do these stupid things. And I like Zach Randolph a lot. I think that I was having a discussion with someone yesterday just about basketball in general. But the Knicks should have never got rid of Zach Randolph for sure. If they had him and Melo together, that would have been a strong front court for sure. And then Zach, you could always move to the center spot. You could play power forward. There's a lot of stuff you could do with Zach. I miss Zach Randolph, but in games like this where you got the guy's going to throw a punch at a player, that's where you say, well, this guy numbs out. What we would say on the street, numbs out in critical moments. You can't lose it. And then we have another Game 7, the Golden State Warriors versus the LA Clippers, and that goes either way. And then talking about the LA Clippers, with all the stuff, I don't even know how these guys can stay focused with all the stuff that's been going on with the owner and Donald Sterling and racist remarks. It's been crazy. And then, to be on vacation and hear all this stuff and be out of state. I was out of state, out of mind, sitting on a beach and listening to my iPhone and listening to all these folks. Everybody and their mother. And I'm talking about this is the kind of situation with this Donald Sterling situation. Everybody and their mother had something to say, had an opinion. And it just became just too much. I almost got racism overload with this. It's almost ridiculous. Everybody's got an opinion. And, I don't want to call a radio station out. I don't want to say anybody the radio station. But I think that there's a radio station here in New York that are hypocritical. They only have one black announcer, and he comes on at night. And it's been this way for 20 years or more. 20 years. They have an all-white on-air staff. All white. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong. We live in a multi-ethnic. They don't have any blacks. They don't have any Latinos. They don't even have any women on this radio station. Don't want to say the name. And they have one African American who comes on at 2 a.m. But they have the nerve. My thing is, they have the nerve to talk about this guy and say he's racist. But if you talk about racism with them, it's like you committed World War III. If you say that, that's why we don't want to say the radio station, because we don't want to say that we are picking on them. But it's a true story. If you watching at home, and folks who watch at home and listen to these radio stations, you know what the dynamics are, and you know which radio station we're talking about. But I think it's hypocritical for you to talk about Donald Sterling. It's one thing to say, and it's one thing to say what you say, and then it's another thing to do. And with the Donald Sterling thing, he said some uncomfortable things. He said some things that were, prejudiced and racist to his girlfriend. But also, it's a lot in what you do. I mean, a lot of people, and what you don't do. People can watch somebody call somebody an ethnic slur. You could be on a bus or you can be on the street and hear somebody call an ethnic slur and just ignore it. Or you can say something like, hey, don't kind of say that kind of stuff around me. I don't participate in that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And the radio station I'm talking about, they have the nerve to talk about this guy and say he's a racist and the comments are this and that. And what are you doing? You're participating in the same thing that he's participating in. You're not hiring. It's like, according to that radio station, blacks, women don't know anything about sports. They have a woman that comes on weekends at night. They have one woman who comes on weekends at night. And I don't even think she comes on the weekends at night anymore. Once in a blue, she comes on at night. The woman that they have. And it's at night. Like, I'm talking about 2 a.m. she comes on. And they have an African American for years. For 20 years. And the rest of the on-air staff, the whole day, is white. And it gives the impression that African Americans, Latinos, and whites don't know anything about sports. They're not qualified to talk about sports on that station. And I think
you
it's
mean
wrong.
women? You mean what? I mean blacks, women, and
Blacks,
Latino,
women. Yeah,
Latinos.
they're giving the impression.
But because they got whites on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But you know
They're
what?
giving the impression as if those ethnicities and those blocks of people don't know anything about sports and can't even speak about sports.
You know, one thing, I mean, this is New York where you have a diverse population.
Exactly.
And there's another radio station. They have different
Ethnicities, exactly.
right. And then what I like about it, you have people of different age.
Right. You have young and older folks.
Because you got too many old fogies on the radio station you talk about, and they got them old ideas. Some of them ideas, some of the similar, not all of them. Some have some of the similar ideas, say like a Donald Sterling, which is it's really them old guard ideas and ideologies and stuff like that, and the way they look at things. That's why this other radio station on the other side, people listen to more, because they're very diverse. They're also part of the young people's culture that's going on out here. And they talk about everything. They talk about, NASCAR. They talk about boxing. They talk, So, this station here, the fan is, well, I mean,
you snuck out. Slipped
nah,
out.
but you know what? This station, the fan, is all about, rants.
Right.
Right. And I think that's the way they market it, just ranting, where, you have the other station,
ESPN radio.
ESPN radio.
Which is multicultural, multi-ethnic.
Right. They go behind the scenes. They get different opinions from players, coaches, owners. Not saying that, the other station does, but other stations seem like to be on a rant. They'll take one subject and then everybody follows, seems like it, and they blow it up. Compared to the other station, they give you basically facts, because I like listening to Stephen A. Smith and a few other people on ESPN radio.
And I've tweeted them. They know how I feel. They know how I feel about it. I mean, listen. I mean, you can have Jackie Robinson's wife. Yeah, they interview. Listen, they interview quite a few African Americans. You could talk about Jackie Robinson all day. They talk about Jackie Robinson. They had Jackie Robinson's wife on there. I'm talking about the radio station that has only one black guy at night.
Right.
They have Jack, and they seem so sympathetic. Oh, we would have did this then. Come on. I couldn't imagine what you went through, Miss Robinson. Come on, give us a break.
They need, you know what they need to do?
You're doing the same thing.
But you know,
You're excluding blacks from your radio station from working and the same thing that was going on in the 50s with Jackie Robinson.
Well, you know
why
what
don't you don't have to hire us. You could hire us if you want to, but why don't you, I'm saying, why don't you act as the Branch Rickies of 2014 and hire some blacks and hire some Latinos to do on-air radio? Why don't you step out the box and be courageous as Branch Rickey and others, and hire women and hire blacks, not just for 2 a.m. in the morning, hiring them during prime time, like Stephen A. Smith, who comes on, he's all over ESPN, morning, on the TV, and in the afternoon. He's all over the TV. He's all over it. He's all over it.
Well, you know what it is? They haven't done, I guess, the marketing department. They haven't really done a search. They have to understand that majority of players that play in some of these sports are black, and we have opinions of our athletes, because it seems like, you know, a lot of these radio stations feel like, well, you know, the majority of people that come to the games are basically white, and this is what they want to hear. This is why I have red, but not necessarily, because, you know, a lot of us, you know, football, basketball, you know, certain, you know, those sports, baseball, we like those sports. We might not go to the game because a lot of us are working, or sometimes the ticket prices is so high you can't get a core diehard audience, but we're there. Because sometimes opinions that I hear on these sports talk shows are very slanted, so they don't have like another opinion.
But even if they appeal, like you said, marketing, it's also marketing and promotion and advertising. If they reached out to those communities, I don't see these radio stations either or.
Yeah, I don't see them in the hood.
Yeah, they're not reaching out to those communities.
I don't see these stations.
Yeah, I don't
in
see
the
any
hood.
advertisements in Bed-Stuy
Right.
or East New York or the
Right.
South Bronx. But I'm sure
Right.
and it's not even just the radio station, even the sports, which, I mean, I don't want to get too off because we got to get to this Kentucky Derby stuff. But even the sports in general need to reach out to the African American communities and the other communities in this city and all over the country. Like, for instance, like there were a lot of discussions about Major League Baseball, how they're reaching out to the Dominican Republic. The Major League Baseball's invested a lot of money in the Dominican Republic, and in return, you have a lot of Dominican players that are coming here. Why can't you do that in the hood? Why don't you invest millions of dollars in Bed-Stuy or Harlem or South Central LA or Washington, D.C., where the African community is needing somebody to come in? We have proven we can play athletics. It's time for not just Major League Baseball, but the NBA, the NHL. We play hockey too. The NHL, and there was another thing that came up this week also. Some black hockey player. I don't know what team it was.
I think it's
some black hockey player hit a
was,
goal or something.
It was the Canadians.
And the Boston people during the playoffs. This just happened. The Boston people started sending out racial slurs, and then so many racial slurs that the Boston Public Relations Department for the Bruins had to come out and say, we denounce that stuff. You know, we're a good organization. We denounce that kind of stuff. I mean, it's terrible, and we apologize. They had to apologize for their fans. But yeah, it's time that the NFL, Major League Baseball, all the major sports start investing in our communities. Start investing in the African American community. Start investing in the hood.
Yes.
Instead of going to the Dominican Republic
and not only
and
that,
Mexico and all these other places.
Not only
Start
that,
investing here.
Not only that, the players should too, because, you know, I had a discussion, you know, with one of my family members, and we were discussing the reason why there's a big decline in Major League Baseball. There was like, I think Frank Robinson was talking about the players or whatever. But anyway, a lot of the baseball players, especially black ball players, we never see them in the hood. I mean, how can, you know, African American youth look up and try to go play baseball when, they don't come to the little leagues. They don't come to the sandlots. A lot of these ball players, they not
Like Willie Mays used to do, play stickball in Harlem.
Yeah, they don't come to the neighborhood. So a lot of the guys that play baseball, even if they play baseball, they don't know who came before them because they're not
exposed in the hood.
Exposed. At least the NBA, you see these dudes at parties. You see them playing like tournaments in the hood, like.
Kevin Durant played at the Rucker, and Marbury played, and Kobe Bryant played in the Rucker in Harlem.
Right, like in L.A., you see all the ball players like Harden, Kobe, Metta World Peace playing in the hood.
Especially Metta World Peace. He's at everything in any hood.
Yeah, playing in the hood in L.A., so the NBA does a great job, but that's the reason why the numbers are low in baseball. I don't see Derek Jeter in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and we
we
don't want to get too far into it, but Derek Jeter's a whole nother story too.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how you going to get?
And he is an African American.
Right. So
Derek Jeter is African American, folks.
Right. So how you going to get, black baseball players when these dudes don't even come to our hood?
Yeah, and Africa, and and we're gonna stop here after this because we got to talk about this. Kentucky Derby.
Yeah. Time is limited.
Yeah, time is limited, but. Yeah, Derek Jeter, one of the radio stations, and I'm not talking about the same one. There's other sports radio station had this thing going about if it wasn't for Jackie Robinson, it was during the Jackie Robinson week. If it wasn't for Jackie, and it was these nondescript players. I can't even remember the players' names, but they were like these little testimonials that one of the radio stations were. If it wasn't for and who's relating to these guys? These guys are no names. I would like to hear Derek Jeter on that testimonial say, if it wasn't for Jackie Robinson, it means more. It means more if it's coming from Jeter. For Derek Jeter to say, if it wasn't for Jackie Robinson, I wouldn't be playing Major League Baseball, and neither would my father be allowed to come to these games. It would mean a lot. Well, let's move on.
Oh yeah,
we'll continue with this discussion.
Yeah.
So
Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, right. Kentucky Derby.
140. All right, where you want me to start?
Well, let's just see who are some of the contenders here. Obviously, the California Chrome is
California Chrome
is a favorite.
Yeah. He's most accomplished horse in the field. He's won his last. He's the only horse since 1906 to win his last 4 Kentucky Derby preps by 5 lengths or more. So he's one of the contenders. Another of the contenders is Danza, who had a big win in the Arkansas Derby. Wicked Strong is another one of the hot contenders. Intense Holiday is another horse that a lot of people are betting because he's working well over the track and he's trained by Todd Pletcher. And you have other horses. Well,
how about Tapiture? I heard a lot of talk about Tapiture.
Well, Tapiture ran a bad race in the Arkansas Derby. Before the Arkansas Derby, he was running very, very well. He looked like he might have been one of the favorites, but he came 4th, and a lot of people saying that he may run better this time. He may bounce back to the way he was running before the Arkansas Derby, but that remains to be seen.
So you had Tapiture, and then I'm hearing a little buzz about Chitu?
Shitu.
Shitu?
Yeah, but that horse, that horse has 4 starts, hasn't run since March 23rd. No horse has won the Derby being away for that long, and the horse is just really lightly raced, inexperienced. And then his last race, he was tiring in the stretch, even though he pulled away by about 2 lengths.
How about Intense Holiday? They saying this is the wise guys. The wise guys horse.
Yeah,
the wise guy pick.
Yeah, the reason why is because John Velasquez and on Todd Pletcher, plus the horse is working well. I didn't like his last race, Louisiana Derby, because the horse, the jockey hit him with a right-hand whip, and the horse he bumped into the rail, and then he had to switch leads again to go to his left lead, and then once he finally got on his lead, he still was beaten by about, almost 5 lengths. So I don't really like the horse. I think he's kind of slow, but, because of John Velasquez and Todd Pletcher, That's the reason why people.
But is it really speed that wins? I mean, a lot of these horses get out to these leads and then lose them at the last minute.
The problem with the horses today, they bred for speed. Years ago, there was horses, that was bred for endurance. You can sit a horse back in the 20th spot, and the horse will come from off the pace. But a lot of these horses have speed, so what they do, they plot around the track, with their speed, and hope to just increase the lead in the stretch. Most of them are not closers. See, back in the day, you had horses like Secretariat,
right.
Alidar Firm, and other horses like that. Those were well-bred horses. The horses today are basically a quick fix because this is the type of society we living in. So everybody wants a horse that has speed, that can go to the lead or hang right behind the other horses.
So yeah. So what is your
picks?
Yeah, what are your picks today?
I'm picking the win, number 20, Wicked Strong. The reason why, he has Kentucky Derby breeding. His father, Hard Spun, finished second in the Derby in 2007, and his grandfather on his mother's side, Charismatic, won the 1999 Kentucky Derby.
Wow, you got the whole genealogy on
plus
these
his
horses.
his prep race. His prep race last time was the best prep race and of the Kentucky Derby preps. He beat 3 undefeated horses in that field and ran by them like they were standing still. So.
Wicked Strong, yo. To win? Wicked Strong to win. All right, the 8 horse to win. Remember, listen, folks. Dan is here. Yeah. Dan is here, the 20 horse. Right. I'm sorry. He's an 8-1 shot, the 20 horse. Right. Dan is here. He usually calls in on the phone.
Yeah, and remember, I picked the winner last year and picked the exacta box in 2012.
This is the guy. If you want to hire him, you can hire him to do sports, but you can also hire him to do handicapping because that's his specialty.
Right.
That's his specialty. He knows this horse stuff. He's been doing this horse thing for a long time. But continue on.
Okay, my second horse that I'm picking, he might be about 50-1. Is Commanding Curve. I picked him for second. The reason why is because the trainer, Dallas Stewart, had a horse last year called Golden Soul, who came second in the Derby. He was maybe almost 40-1, and I didn't even use him last year. Otherwise, I would have caught the triple, the superfecta, everything you would name, the exacta. But this horse has the same pattern as Golden Soul. This horse can close in the field. There's a lot of speed up front. He ran the same races last year, the prep races, as Golden Soul did. He ran in the Risen Star. He came 6th, then he came 3rd in the Louisiana Derby. He was like a length and a half behind Intense Holiday. So remember that. People like Intense Holiday might as well play this horse at 50-1.
What, 20 to run first and then 16 second?
2017.
Oh, 2017? Oh, Commanding Curve?
Yeah. And you know what's weird?
2017. Okay, my bad.
I mean, this horse, Commanding Curve, number 17, is trained well at Churchill Downs. Also, this is funny. If this exacta come out, you have 2 jockeys who are both Indian and Jamaican. So be crazy to have 2 Jamaican jockeys run 1-2 in this race. But anyway, the horse I'm picking for third is number 14, Medal Count. The reason why I'm picking this horse for third, this trainer Dale Romans had a horse, 2 horses. Patio Prado in 2010 came third, and Doulahan came third in 2012. This horse fits the same pattern of the other 2. Run them at Kingland's synthetic surface, and then put them on the dirt in the Kentucky Derby. So that's the reason why I'm picking this horse there. And fourth, I'm putting California Chrome. So my numbers is 20, 17, 14, and 5. Box them all. But let me talk about California Chrome. California Chrome is the most accomplished horse in the race. Like I said, he's the first horse since 1906 to win all his last 4 races by 5 lengths or more.
Right.
Now the question is he a freak and win this race by 10 lengths, or is he just going to not like the track, which I saw earlier this week? And that's the reason why I'm putting this horse fourth. If he beats me, so what?
So yeah, man, we've run out of time. Thanks for joining us again.
All right.
You're always part of the hardcore sports family anyway.
All right.
But yeah, man, check it out. Just say what the
2017, 14 and 5.
2017, 14 and 5.
Right.
No doubt. So make sure you make that bet. Check out the Kentucky Derby. I think it's around 5 or 6 o'clock. They're going to start. Probably around 6 o'clock the race starts. But
Channel 4.
Channel 4. We'll see you next week on another segment of Hardcore Sports.
All right.
Peace.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about